So, Ros, the US had come under criticism for not doing more to help India, though it seems like they've come through today with some help. What are we seeing?
Yes, it definitely has. And I think this won't completely stem the criticism, Paul, but at least it shows that the U.S. is being responsive. For now, the U.S. isn't selling or donating actual vaccines to India. It's offered to provide raw material for India to ramp up its own production and to provide some funding to significantly boost output at a particular company to the point where they could make about up to 1 billion doses by the end of next year. So that's really something. But it's been mentioned again and again that the U.S. has this massive stockpile of AstraZeneca vaccines. It might be something like 40 million doses now. And AstraZeneca hasn't even filed for approval to use those in the U.S. So we did hear today from Dr. Anthony Fauci that sending those to India or elsewhere may be a possibility down the line. But at least this is something. We also had the UK offering several plane loads of supplies to India, including ventilators. And of course, the UK's own coronavirus cases are down something like 90% from its peak. So they've presumably got quite a stockpile of material there too. We've also heard from France and Germany. So countries are coming to the fore with India, and they know that really the coronavirus pandemic is you have to lift all boats. And for India's massive economy to be dragged down by this, I think is concerning on a global basis.
Ros, at least we have more positive news in Hong Kong and Singapore. They look likely that we'll have a step forward with their travel bubble.
Exactly. And so many countries have been one step forward, two steps back for the past year or more. And it seems like Hong Kong and Singapore intend to announce as soon as, today, your time, Monday, that they'll start a two-way air travel bubble as soon as May 26th, so a month from now. And this is something that's been months in the making and was sort of, I think, floated and then cancelled. Now, as we know, these bubbles can deflate pretty quickly. New Zealand opened a travel bubble with Australia a little while ago and then closed it again after one person in Western Australia tested positive. So there can certainly be a few slips along the way, but sort of case by case, it seems like the news is coming out in a positive fashion.
Ros, sticking with travel news, the New York Times reporting the EU is going to allow vaccinated US tourists to visit this summer. What's the latest?
Yes, a very interesting interview that the Times secured today with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. And she suggested that U.S. tourists could be back in Europe this summer subject to having been vaccinated. And as we know, there's been something like 200+ million doses administered in the U.S. so far. So there's definitely plenty of Americans who would like to travel to Europe. We haven't heard anything in response from U.S. authorities, so we're kind of waiting to hear that to see if the EC might be jumping the gun there. But it's another positive step and certainly something that people all across the travel and hospitality industries have been waiting very keenly to hear. So confirmation awaited, but it's looking good, I think.